All right, and what is good, everybody? Quancredible here, bringing you the review for Four Nights of Apocalypse, Chapter 28. And I'll be the first person to tell you that, like, this chapter did have some decent information in it, but this wasn't like the most hype chapter or the most exciting chapter. I'll be the first to admit that one, but there still was some interesting things to take away from this chapter. Basically in the beginning, it's with the dragon had just dropped down on Donnie. Eldon had summoned it, through whistling. And Donnie just runs, which is like, I know, like, we can rag on Donnie for running away from all of his problems, but I mean, like, I don't know what he's supposed to do in this exact situation. And then from there we go back to the jail with Percival and Annie just now like waking up or wearing off of the alcohol, which is kind of, I understand this is a manga. I get that. But like the fact that they were that drunk that they passed out and woke up with no hangover, a little wild to me. Just from speaking from personal experience, that just seems a little crazy to me. But they wake up and Annie is immediately extremely angry because she sees Hauser. She remembers that Hauser stole her money, so she's like yelling at him, and then she's like suspicious of what could have happened while she was passed out. So she like starts crying to Percival, but not really crying. She's more or less just trying to like goad Percival into attacking Hauser, which is really funny because Percival goes for it immediately, and like, oh, you punched Donnie and you're making Annie cry. So Percival, the shot is so funny to me because he like launches like a missile directly into Hauser's stomach, and this exact panel is just like hilarious. After that, Annie does recognize Hauser as the Holy Knights captain of Leonis, and it's kind of, I'm not gonna say it's funny, but it's kind of odd because seeing as how much of a Holy Knights buff she is, you would think she would recognize Hauser. But at the same time, given the actual time period this more than likely is based off of, she like, unless she would have seen him, she'd have like no way of knowing what he looked like unless someone like drew a picture of him, I guess. So like, it's kind of fair. Like, I kind of get that she wouldn't like immediately know who he is, but then be able to figure it out later. Um, but yeah, from there, Hauser barfs because he got hit in the stomach, so he like throws up because he's like crazy drunk. And then we flash back over to Eldon and Donnie, which is kind of like, I guess, like, despite there not being a lot of stuff happening in this chapter flowed really quickly. Like, it flowed quickly and it also flowed well, just kind of based off how they kept on how like Nakaba kept switching back and forth between both scenes. So like, I did enjoy that from a pacing point of view. I actually did enjoy that. But Donnie's still running away, and Eldon wants the people of Kant to capture him without harming him. This is kind of like our first glance into something I think that is going to be a big point. Probably a little bit later on, is throughout this chapter we learn that, like, despite Eldon doing all these bad things like robbing people, having this whole thieves town setup, Eldon's not actually a like bad dude. Like, I mean, well, he is a bad dude, but he's not like a straight evil dude. Like, he isn't like killing people and things along those lines. So throughout this chapter we get to see like multiple instances of he is bad, but he's not 100% bad. So like, this would be our first instance for right here, because he just wants Donnie captured unharmed essentially. We also see that Eldon does have a egg, which he is apparently using as for hostage. Like, he's using a egg as hostage to like get the dragon to listen to him. I'm not exactly for sure how that works. I mean, well, I'm not gonna say it because dragons typically in fantasy are portrayed to be extremely intelligent, so I guess it's not too far off that it understands human speech. But essentially, it kind of goes. This actually flows directly into Taizo talking about Eldon in general. And basically, he popped up one day. The people there kind of liked his like charisma, his muscle, and that kind of thing, so they accepted him in. But he says that like something must have pushed him to taking the huge risk of like diving into a dragon's den and stealing the egg. But whatever it was that did drive him to do that, since then the dragon has been obeying him essentially. And then they kind of surmise that this is probably the last egg that the dragon will lay. So it's more than likely like it wants its like child, so it's not gonna like allow it to die. And it's so weird to me because it makes me wonder what could have driven Eldon to want to do this. Like, part of me feels like it has to be a somewhat noble cause, like, since overall we see that he's not a complete scumbag. So there, I feel like there has to be some like actual logical reasoning to why he's doing this, and not just because he needed, extra dragon firepower. Like there is a reason here. And then after hearing this story, Nansen's, questions Hauser like, so you basically came here after the rumors of your apprentice, and Hauser says it's none of your business. And I feel like this is what people would assume, but it almost makes me feel like Hauser came here for possibly a different reason, which is just so curious because it makes me wonder like what else other reason could Hauser have come here? Or maybe it was because of his apprentice, but maybe like not so cut and dry. Like maybe there's something like I feel like there's like another step there. Like I don't think Hauser just came here to arrest Eldon or to save Eldon. There's another reason there, and I'm not quite for sure what it could be. I mean, I kind of feel like whatever it is, will probably relate to the reason that Eldon went into the Dragon's Den in the first place. But as for what that could be, it's like who knows. And then we also learned that the egg is a fake. It is part of Eldon's magic. He has this imitation ability where he can create, a fake of something that is like identical to how it looks and feels and all that kind of stuff, which makes sense because this is how he made that imitation Percival to trick Nansen's when he knocked him out. And this is kind of what we were talking about, because I mean, there wasn't really a lot of things it could be it like in a illusion or some type of like speed. Like I was definitely leaning more towards illusion because it'd just be odd that he would flex speed like that. So this whole illusion thing, it makes sense. And it's again, it's like I said in the last review, that it's very odd that both of Hauser's apprentices had two very non-combat oriented magical abilities, or innately non-combat oriented. Like when you look at Hauser and Gil Thunder, they had wind and lightning. So it's like those are much easier, straightforward to use in a battle than like imitation or like whatever Donnie has. So I just thought that I still think that that's just really interesting. So basically, Taizo in the end asks for help to like basically save Eldon, and Hauser's like, he's gonna get whatever is coming to him, which is weird because it's like if you don't care, then why are you here? Like Hauser is being so confusing right now. It could be because he's like drunk, but he's just being so confusing as to what his actual goal is here. And Taizo does also let us know that he doesn't let the bandits do anything to the women or the children. He doesn't even kill the Holy Knights he captures. He lets everyone go. So like it's like I was saying, this it lets us know that Eldon isn't a complete scumbag. So he is a good person at heart, but it's just like it's really curious as to what exactly is his goal. And then from there we flash back over to Eldon. He did get knocked out with a large rock by this group of bandits who wanted the egg for themselves. And these idiots actually did take it, and except the dragon comes flying down and they get scared and they throw the egg up, and then it basically lands right in front of Sin and Sylvain, and it breaks. And it's at this point that the dragon is super angry because I don't know if the dragon realizes that the mirage is done, or that they think, or that it thinks that its actual egg is broken, but it starts to go on a rampage, and then like one swipe destroys like the bulk of the tower that is Kant. And then that is the chapter. So from here, it's kind of interesting to think of where the story could go, because clearly Eldon is not going to be able to calm this thing down. And even if Eldon does, and like it's one of those things where like if the dragon knows that it's a mirage, then it's going to be wondering where its actual egg is, and it's going to be really mad. Or if it actually thinks the egg is broken, it's just going to think its kid is dead, and it's just going to be really mad. Or if Eldon tells it like that it wasn't real, like there's no instance where I don't see this dragon being really upset. So it's just really it's kind of lose here. And then there's also the fact that like Sin just got put into this like immediately. Like Sin is right in this immediate area, so Sin may be able to help with this whole dragon situation. There is always the possibility that Hauser could step in and beat it, because Taizo asked Hauser to do something about it, which would give me the idea that Taizo knows that Hauser can beat it, or maybe he just hopes Hauser can beat it. But at the same time, Hauser didn't act worried or scared. He's just like, oh, whatever, it's his problem. So like, makes you think that Hauser could do something if he wanted to. So I'm just really interested to see how this dragon situation is going to get solved, because if I know one thing for sure, it's not going to be Percival. I know that. Well, I'm not gonna say I know that, but I'm pretty sure Percival's not gonna be the one to take out this dragon. Just because it seems like it might be a lot for him, but who knows? I might be wrong. I think it would be hype to see him fight a dragon. Maybe we'll get like a team fight against this thing. Who knows? But I am curious to know what you guys think is going to happen next with this huge dragon. And as I was saying, not a lot happened in this chapter like that. It just kind of flowed. We got some information, but nothing crazy. Honestly, this was more of a setup chapter. For me, this chapter was kind of like a 6. Like it was just like whatever, just like above average. It was just kind of meh. But like I said, let me know you guys' comments and how you guys feel about it down below. Make sure you guys like the videos or subscribe to the channel for more content. I do have some more theory videos for Four Nights of Apocalypse coming up, so make sure you subscribe so you can see those. I want you guys to see some of these theories and get you guys' opinions on them. But yeah, aside from that, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.